Good afternoon, everybody. Here's another update on the progress of my garden, my backyard garden, my first attempt at having a garden. And I'm pretty pleased with what's going on. I've had some successes, I've had some losses. Overall, it's looking pretty good. We'll start with our patio tomatoes. I think these things are about gone. They seem to have gotten some kind of fungus, but we were able to get about 4 tomatoes off of them. We have them covered up so the birds won't get to them. All the tomatoes came off of this plant, but I don't see any more on this one. And this one was really the worst off. That's got 2 tomatoes, one which we could probably start to pick and eat. In fact, there we go. We also have, this was, I believe, hugely successful. This is my kidney beans. They're starting to dry on the vine, and I think that's what I want to have happen. I've got some in the house. I picked them off, and they're drying in the house. And then I read somewhere you're supposed to leave them on the vine. So I'll get a couple more beans out of that. I don't know if it's going to do me a whole lot of good, but at least I know a little bit more about growing kidney beans. Now we had the fungus on our tomato plants, and it looks like our apple trees had a fungus. So we've been spraying it. You see all the brown spots on the leaves, and some of the leaves actually turn brown. And we actually have some apples growing up there. Oh, there's some big ones way up top, it looks like. By the way, the silver stuff, tinfoil, undesirable CDs, they're hanging to hopefully deter birds, because the birds are all over the place. You'll probably hear some. And they love to eat what our crop, whatever that is. There's my basil plant. Brought it Home Depot. This one is kind of in the shade, and it's actually flowering, so I need to cut those things off. But these just died. We've had over 100-degree weather, and these plants up here have been in the sun. They were extremely healthy. We got the basil off of those 2 bushes, and then this in the center was a loose leaf lettuce. It's going to seed now. I'm going to see if I can't harvest the seeds from it. But this whole pot was just full, and we'd come out here and pick the leaves off. Very healthy, very good, and we ate off of that for several weeks. But now I think just the heat's got to them, and their time is past. These are rain barrels. And here, that's a out of control beans over there, huh? But it's grown up a lot. There's 3 plants in here that I purchased as seedlings. Everything else, I put seeds in the ground and started them that way. This is funny. This one is my cucumber plant, and it's taking over everything. And I'm trying to train it to vine not on the other plants, but up or out. And it has several blooms on it, but I have yet to find a cucumber. So that's the big mystery. Why don't I have any cucumbers? The way it grows, I'm thinking it's kudzu, but I know it's not kudzu. I have 1 carrot. Don't know when I'm supposed to pick it, but the greens look pretty healthy. 3 sad-looking tomatoes. No, wait, onions. And I dug one up yesterday, and it was no bigger around than my pinky, so I'm not sure what they're supposed to look like, so I'm just leaving them where they are for now. This is an eggplant. There's another eggplant, smaller. And then behind it are lima beans. And apparently it's not the vining variety. It is actually a bushing variety. And there's an example of one of the bean pods. And I'm waiting for them to plump up a bit to allow the lima beans to get bigger before I actually pick them. Squash. This thing's also growing. This is one squash plant, and it's got lots of little squash on it. It's growing pretty well. And yesterday I went ahead and picked these two babies off of it, and they're going to be part of our dinner for this evening, and they look really tasty. Now this plant was growing so much that it overshadowed this plant, which was over here last night underneath these leaves, and it was flowering, so I figured it's going to die, and I decided I would transplant it, give it more space, and see if I can't keep it alive. And actually it's looking better. A few hours ago it was flat on the ground, so I've been feeding it a little bit of water every hour, and hopefully we'll be able to talk this guy back into health. Then this is another squash plant, and it's got a little baby fruit on it. There's tomato staked up, 3 tomatoes staked up. There's another one. That one has nice, good looking green tomatoes growing on it. And these two over here have yet to produce any tomatoes. And behind it, and growing up on this vine, are pole beans. And lots of flowers. Don't really have any beans yet, but this guy was growing all over everything, and I have to really watch it to make sure that the little tendrils don't choke off my tomato plants. And they've been very cooperative. When I moved them, they've responded and gone the way that I've been trying to get them to go. Now here's my cabbage. There we go. Sorry about that finger. And you can see we have holes in it, so some kind of bug is eating on this, and I got to figure that out. They're also getting my broccoli. So it's starting to look like a broccoli plant, and it's starting to look like a cabbage plant. Three pepper plants, sweet bell peppers. That one was planted at the same time, but he's just stunted in growth. And this tomato plant is about ready to produce. And I have got some tomatoes to pick here in the next day or so. Here's another tomato plant, less further along, and another one. Then again, I have another broccoli. And I'll figure out what's eating it and I'll get that to stop. Another broccoli. And here is one of my eggplants. And here's a Japanese eggplant that I have. And I've actually got an eggplant on it. That, I have no idea what that is, but it started growing there, and so I just left it to see what it is. Almost looks like a pot plant, but I don't think it is. So, that's my garden. Again, we have the silver things to keep away birds. Have not had any problems with rabbits this year. And here's my little haul for the day. All right, that's my garden update, June 24th.